What's going on, guys? So my scent of the day today sparked a bit of debate across, my social platforms, different questions and stuff like that, because this fragrance is known to be a clone of a very specific fragrance, and in many ways, I feel it can be superior. So I felt we should go ahead and compare Paul Gaultier's Ultra Male to Afnan's 9PM, and finally just get down to it. Which one should you get? Should you spend a little more and get the original? Should you save a little money and get the clone? Stay tuned. So, starting with Paul Gaultier's Ultra Male. Very, very popular fragrance. It's had its share of hype over the years, and for good reason. It's a beautiful, sweet, and spicy fragrance. If you're into sweet fragrances, this is one of the better ones ever created for men. Beautiful, juicy pear note. That's going to be one of the biggest differences you're going to see versus the other one, where that one, we'll discuss the notes in a little bit, but this juicy pear, aromatic lavender really stands out in the opening. Extremely fresh. There is a mint note here, but it doesn't come across very minty to me personally. You will get plenty of cinnamon. Heavy dose of that cinnamon, and then vanilla is the dominating sweet note that you're going to get, and it's very sweet. One of the things that some complain about, and admittedly the first time I smelled it I was kind of surprised at how synthetic this is. It is much more chemically synthetic overall than maybe you're expecting, but I gotta tell you, out in the air it's actually quite lovely. It's when you smell it up close that you really get some of that harshness to it. But as it starts to dry, it just becomes beautiful. It's basically a cinnamon, musk, lavender, woody vanilla bomb. It's that simple. You're going to get the pear for a little while, and once that fades, you're left with the aromatic tone, a lot of the sweetness, a decent amount of the spice, some woods and musk. The deeper it goes into the dry down, the more it becomes just a little bit of sweetness with woods and musk. So not that deep of a fragrance, not very complex, but very youthful, very playful, and very powerful. Now, in regards to Afnan's 9PM, actually my scent of the day currently, we'll go ahead and spray the card just to spray the card. Here with the note breakdown, you'll notice it's very, very similar. Minus the mint, you still have the cinnamon, but you substitute green apple for pear, and it is much more fruity fresh. Overall, on the top, you're going to get a heavy dose of that apple. That's the biggest difference I find from the clone 9PM to Ultra Male. Another thing that I find quite remarkable and different is, for being a cheaper Middle Eastern clone, the quality smells a bit better here. It's a bit smoother. It lacks that harsh synthetic edge that Ultra Male has in the opening. It's a smoother fragrance through and through. Honestly, from start to finish, it comes across a bit more high quality. A little bit more. I'm not going to sit here and say it's a niche version, because it's not, but I feel like they did use better oils overall, because it's a smoother fragrance through and through from start to finish. And you're going to get a lot of the same things here. As it dries, it's all about that sweetness, but you don't have the musks and the woods. You will have a little bit of that vanilla smell, but here you get some tonka bean as well. So honestly, it's a little bit sweeter as it starts to dry. So this isn't a one-to-one clone. I would say it's every bit of 85 to 90%, because there are a few subtle differences that aren't really that easy to detect unless you're looking for them and doing a side-by-side comparison, which is what we're doing here today, because you're not going to get that woody tone. You're not going to get much of a musk as it gets into the deeper dry down. In the opening's very similar. You will get that cinnamon spice. You're going to get a lot of that vanilla sweetness, but you get some more fruity sweetness because you get a lot of apple here. It's actually quite the heavy dose. Overall, as far as the scent profiles between the two, I gotta say, 9PM, it smells better to me because of the smoothness, the quality, and the fruitiness overall. Just comes across better to me. Now, in regards to performance, they both perform great, but where I get about 8, maybe to 10 hours if I'm lucky sometimes with this version of Paul Gaultier's Ultra Male. We're not going to play the batch code game, guys, with either one of these, because I know somebody's going to ask about both. If you buy the fragrance, just spray the fragrance and enjoy it. Don't worry about batch codes. With this one, I look at about 8 to 10 hours of longevity, which is great longevity. That's well above average. Projection is on the heavier side in the first 2 hours, and the sillage is a little bit heavier. It's on that moderate side as well. Afnan 9PM. This is a beast. This is a 12-plus hour fragrance on my skin. Projection is very heavy in the first 2 to 3 hours, as well as the sillage. The sillage is on the heavy to moderate side. So if you're looking for the beast of the two, for these 2 bottles that I have in my possession, the clear-cut favorite and winner overall in performance across the board, every single category, all 3 categories of performance, subcategories anyway, Afnan 9PM is the clear winner. Now when it comes down to value, I mean, you may already know where we're going with this one with value, because you're going to spend a little bit more. This is a 75 ml versus this 100 ml, and I did pay about double from discounters. I paid around $80, $70 or $80 for this 75 ml of Paul Gaultier's Ultra Male, whereas I paid $40 for this 100 milliliter bottle, so more juice, that I deem to be higher quality and better, higher quality smelling and better performing, for close to half the price at $40. So the value is clear cut. Your bang for your buck is with Afnan. They continue to impress me, and the main fragrance that impresses me from Afnan is this particular fragrance. So we can just cut to the chase. Don't get me wrong, this is great. Ultra Male, it's a remarkable fragrance. It's a moment in time. It kind of set the tone for these more powerful, sweet fragrances for men. But this is the superior version that you're going to spend less money. It's hands down the way to go. If I would have got this first, I would have never gotten this. I'm glad I got Ultra Male first, so I can appreciate 9PM more and have this discussion with you guys in the first place, because honestly, I don't see the value here, but I do see it here. This is the clear-cut winner. This is the one I would say go for. Spend your money on this. Find it as cheap as you can find it. It's a beast. It smells a little bit better in quality. It's just a great fragrance. Well, that's my personal thoughts, feelings, and opinions between the two, Paul Gaultier's Ultra Male and Afnan's 9PM. And until next time, do me a real quick favor. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. So I do appreciate all the feedback, and I love hearing from you guys. Have you tried both? What do you think about both? Do you agree with my assessment? Do you prefer Ultra Male? All is fair. This is all just my opinion and my particular assessment. You may feel differently, and that's okay, or you may completely agree with me. But if you value my opinion, I would say you're better off with 9PM personally. But hey, get whatever you like, you know? And until next time, I will say if you get your hands on either one and you give them a spray now, pretty confident you'll thank me later. Have a good one, guys.